All right, let's close this up. So, again, incredible response. And I wasn't looking for clicks. I'm not looking for followers for it. I don't really care. Honestly, I don't care. This is right now a hobby for me. This is not my living. When Jason found out about me, I was putting about 5 hours a week in. Now I put maybe 10 to 12 hours a week. This is a hobby. It's one that I enjoy. I feel like I have a lot to add. I feel like I have a lot to teach. The response has been pretty significant. You don't get to 1,000 subscribers in YouTube by accident part-time if people don't like what it is you're saying. That's in the top 10th of 1%. It's not a lot by the standards of a YouTube podcast or a YouTube subscriber base. It's peanuts. It's nothing. But the average person has less than 10. Okay. And I've never put a dime, not a penny, not a dime, not a dollar into any of this. I have never paid for promotions and ads, nothing. It's all organic. And if I decide that I want to move forward with it, then I will do it on a much larger scale, and I'll get into the tens of thousands very, very quickly, because everything that I've done in my life in terms of building businesses and taking things from zero, to 100,000, 200,000, 400,000, $500,000, $1 million in sales like that. I can do the same thing with this, as I have no doubts. Unlike what Jason said. Here's what Jason Whitlock said to me. It's just like, you don't talk to people like this. Yeah, at 53 years old, there's probably not much of a chance for you to make anything of this. Again, had an opportunity to mentor me. Instead, he chose to mock me, mimic me, and embarrass me. This is a man on a national stage with an opportunity to impress upon people good stuff. And I had a brief text with somebody on the inside yesterday and said they changed his life. And had they not met him, they would, I'm paraphrasing, things. So thankful that it came into his life, and he's probably done some good things. I don't doubt that. Everybody has good to them. This is not to suggest that he's a bad man through and through, but dude's got some things really twisted and confused as to the way that he treats people. And maybe he thought I was a fool and just this guy with blinded, sheets pulled over my head, in terms of like blinded by the light. I don't mean to, let me rephrase that and make sure sheets over my head. I don't mean to make that sound that way. That's not what was not my intent. Like the wool pulled over my eyes, in terms of I'm just this dumb person that doesn't understand how to be treated. You don't tell somebody that you're not going to be successful at this. You just met me. You don't have the right to talk to me that way, nor do I have the right to talk to you that way. And I gave the ultimate level of respect to this man, folks, behind the scenes, during the scenes, at all times. At all times. You just don't treat people like that. All right. So the person says to me yesterday, disappointed to see that you went this route. Jason could have really helped you. I don't want Jason's help. I don't want anything to do with Jason. I don't like to be associated with people like Jason that associate themselves with characters and basically trouble starters and people who mix Molotov cocktails and throw them out there in life, like TJ Moe did, and insulted every woman on the planet. All right. And that really triggered me, and it still triggers me. I'm sick about it. And I don't know why I feel this way so strongly. Maybe it's because I've employed a lot of females. Maybe it's because I had C-suite level women who worked for me that are incredible professionals. They all, multiples made six figures. Multiple of them ran circles around men. Now, that's not the context in what he was saying per se, but there's a lot of that going on in that show, and that don't believe women should work, and it's a man's world, and women shouldn't be in and around sports. It's man dominated. It's all bullshit. Yeah, again, you're entitled to your opinion. Have your opinion, but be careful what you say when you just start alienating out people. And when you have 582,000 subscribers and you're maybe wondering why, that you might want to start there. It doesn't work. Somebody told me this morning, this was one of the very couple, like there's like two, I would say negative comments or challenging comments. He said, stay in your lane. You're pushing the wrong buttons. This is not my lane. I'm not changing lanes. Tons and tons of people reached out to me. I spent 2 months thinking about if I wanted to do this. And the TJ Moe thing, honestly, that's what triggered me. It triggered me to come out about this because I was ashamed of myself that I ever shared a segment with him. Somebody told me yesterday, they said, you were actually harder on TJ Moe than you were on Whitlock. He's probably right, because that's one of the lowest of low things I have ever heard. Don't hire an attractive woman, because you're putting yourself in a position. Again, I don't have it in front of me, John. I don't have it in front of me. I'm paraphrasing. Okay. Everybody could look at the clip. I'm not making it up. I'm not misleading anybody, to the extent that he says, men, when you hire an attractive woman, you give opportunity for temptation, essentially for temptation to set in, which is basically to imply, bring unattractive women around you. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting. And this is a man with a wife and children, and I think at least one daughter. And he's an employer of women. You got to be kidding me. So that really triggered me about 6 weeks ago, after I exited the show 2 months and a little bit ago. November 19th, it was about 2 months. That really triggered me. And it prompted me to want to come out about this. It prompted me to want to come out and tell my story, as well as in conjunction with the people asking about my story. So let me just tell you about this part. And I just really want to move on, because this is really important. I've employed hundreds of people at times in my life. I've managed well over 1,000 at different stops for myself and for others in my lifetime. There's one thing that I've learned over the years. It doesn't matter if it's an employee, a contractor, a vendor. The number one responsibility that you have, it isn't to prop your damn self up. It is to take care of those people around you. It doesn't matter in what capacity they are involved. Is it part-time? Is it full-time? Again, is it contractor? Is it temp? Is it term-based? Whatever it is, your number one responsibility is to respect those people, is to help guide, teach, communicate with those people, define expectation, lay out exactly what's expected and the reasons why, and then say or ask, do you have any questions for me? Management 101, which clearly Jason Whitlock and his team have zero idea about or how to do. So my experience with this, and again, I understand it's a fluid situation. I do a little bit of a show. Topics change. There's hot topics. There's trending topics. There's something that might happen at 9 o'clock tonight versus something that happens at 4 o'clock this afternoon. I get it. It changes like that. Okay. It's very, very fluid. I get it. Never did anyone tell me, nor did I ask, because you're just trying not to ruffle that. You're thinking there's mature adults in the room and that maybe they're going to come to you because they're asking you to be on the show. And then there's basically like almost an expectation of it. They'll ask you, are you available? They'll say, in the beginning, the very early days, it was never, hey, are you available this week? It would come in the actual morning. So I'm on Eastern time. Show starts at 11 o'clock Eastern time. I'm getting texts at 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:20. Can you be on the show today? Yeah, I can. I mean, you're new to this. You want to do this. Like, I'm experimenting with this. I'm testing. I'm trying some different things. You want to be involved. So I kept on saying yes. And I'm like, okay, is this really how this actually works? Because again, no one's saying anything. Here's the expectation. It's going to ebb and flow when we get information to you. A lot of it's going to be a last minute. Jason doesn't decide on topics until, 9, 10 p.m., whatever it is. I don't know that that's the case. Let's just assume for a moment, 9, 10 p.m. the night before, whatever pops up, or maybe your Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, or you know what, you're new to this and we're trying you out. I'm telling you, zero communication, folks. You want to talk about twisting in the wind and dangling in the wind? And I got this dude critiquing me on what he thinks I am or not. Bro, get your own house in order. You live and are in a glass house. Learn how to treat people. Learn how to lead people. You're not doing this as a hobby. You have people that work with you and around you at least 40 hours a week. You have scheduled guests that work with you. Do you do that to them? Probably not. So my name's not Danny Cannell. My name's not Steve Kim. So let's just discard this guy. Let's let him run around and chase his tail as if I don't have a life. This is not what I do full time. I'm not on your beckoning call. Now, one might think, all right, so if you really want to get noticed and you want to be known on a national show, Just do what they say. Well, how do exactly, if this is not the full-time thing that I do, and they all knew this, by the way, how do I make myself available at 11 Eastern time, which that's when the show starts. That's the first block, or the intro monologue. That's when it starts. If you are finding out that you're on the show and then you have to prep based on the topics, there's a 2-hour window. And I don't watch all the games. You can't possibly do it. I have a certain niche and then I follow. And it's like, all right, here's the topic. And then it's 9 a.m, show starting at 11. You have your life, you're scrambling, you say yes, and then you're running around, you're going to get clips, you're doing all this type of stuff to get prepared for the show, to not just have to wing it and have a little bit of information. And so guess what, you guys? Maybe you ought to take a lesson here too. Maybe you ought to realize that some of my hiccups that I made on the show were because I had no prep time. Zero. I had no idea what to expect. I had no guidance, no communication, none whatsoever. I'm out here, I'm wondering. My wife would say, legit question, hey, you know if you're going to be on a show today? No, I have no idea. Literally, I have no idea. More near the end, in fairness, John would text me on a Sunday night, 9 o'clock, 8 p.m., 9 o'clock, something like that. And he'd say, I think we might circle to you. We might want to circle to you this week. Are you available? Okay. I don't again, every day, 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. What does that mean? What are the topics? Can I get some sort of idea? Are we staying in a basketball lane? Are we staying in a football lane? What are we doing over here? So imagine you're starting anything new at any level, part-time, full-time, contractor, term. It doesn't matter what it is. And you have no idea. And this is new for me. And again, I cannot emphasize this is new for me. I'm not an industry veteran. I'm not Steve Kim. I'm not Danny Cannell that have 500,000 followers or something like that, like Danny and on ESPN and things like that. I don't know what to expect. I'm new. So why not guide the person? Why not teach the person? Why not take 10 minutes and say, here's what you can expect. I don't want you to feel like you're out there. Hey, we love what you do. We love what you bring to the table. I listed everything out on the show yesterday. We think you have some great value so that you understand where we're at and all of this. Here's what we're thinking and here's why. And then I either agree with it or I don't, because you don't own me. You're not paying me. You paid me zero. And I didn't get a chance to say this on the show yesterday because this one blew me away too. And this is when I knew I had a bad problem. Like there was all of these things building up and I was just kind of suppressing it, hoping, I guess, that it would figure itself out and that, hey, maybe this is like going someplace and I'm being tested. And if I pass the test, then maybe they start paying me. Maybe I become a formal contributor. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I get some sort of stipend. I don't know how it works again. And I'm not going to ask that question because I don't know where the line is and I'm trying to let some time go. Jason asks me to go research somebody. Yeah, I got this guy in New York. He does research for me, but he's not available. Can you go research this and this and this? And I'm thinking to myself, all right, I'm being honest with you. I was in a car. I was in it was actually a church parking lot of all places. Not because I was there, but because I was on the road and I had to pull over. Man, that should have been a signal right there, right? What are you doing, dude? He's asking me because he's looking to make a certain decision, and I won't divulge what the details are of that. But he says, hey, I have a meeting with this person, whatever, Can you do some research for me on that? What am I going to say? No. Like I am a big research guy. I'm an analytical guy. I'm a detail guy, data guy, extensive background in business and 30-year entrepreneur, owned very successful businesses. Again, managed and employed a lot of people, groundbreaking in a lot of areas in terms of the niches that I created were very, very different. Everything that I do, I try to be different in terms of not being status quo and give clients and give people something totally different than what they could ever dream of type of thing. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe that's where he's going. He just wants me to go research somebody, report back to me basically is what he's saying, give me all that information. My time is the most important thing that I have in my life. It's the most important commodity that anybody has. especially when you're in a coma in 2016. You don't know how much time you have left. Like, you don't know if it's just something happens in your mind that it changes and you have a newfound respect for time and life. And not that I'm in danger of dying now. I'm not suggesting that. It's just you start to learn that your time is valuable more than ever before. And as you learn and you go through business, every moment that I spend on moments in time that I spend each day has to make sense for me. So here I have this other guy. He's like, be on the show whenever. Okay. Go do this research for me on this guy and report it back to me. And edit that. And I'm like, all right, dude. Yeah, I'll do it. And I report back to him. Yep, thanks. This is the way it operates. And I wonder if this is how it operates everywhere. I'll find out. I will. I'll do the research myself. I'll inquire with some of those big names that I talk to in the industry, and I'll broach this topic. Is this how it works when you bring somebody new on? Do you not tell them anything, and they're just supposed to expect to make themselves available? I'm not Steve Kim. I don't have 4 other things or 5 other things. I've not been a boxing broadcaster. I'm not Danny Kanell on ESPN. I do this for a living. And hey, I'm the Friday guy. I'm the Thursday, Wednesday guy. I'm going to block out, 15, 20, 40, 30-minute segment block, whatever it is. This is what goes back to what I said yesterday about learn how to treat people, respect people. If you feel you have something in somebody, you want to bring them in your orbit, talk to them, treat them like a human being. Don't just leave them dangling and twisting out in the wind. Jason Whitlock walks around and sits there and talks like one of the most arrogant asses on the planet. And folks, this is what he allowed. It's his name. This is what he allowed to go on behind the scenes. I don't want anything to do with that. I promise you I would have exited out. As soon as I found out about TJ Moe, I would have exited out in 2 seconds flat. That was not denounced in any sort of way to my knowledge. That is immediate grounds for termination as any contributor, in my opinion, and by most any standard of anyone that has ever been in business. That is not something you allow around your orbit. You just don't do it. You want to be some controversial guy and go be a controversial guy, I guess. But if you want a respectable show and you're not in it for clickbait, but you're in it for the right reasons, you cannot have people that talk like that around. You just can't. But then again, maybe it can. Maybe it's just me, and maybe I just believe in a little bit different standard, and maybe they don't. So I'm done with this dude. I want nothing to do with any of them. Literally, if he called me tomorrow and he apologized for all of this misleading and misinforming and taking advantage of, because that's really what it is, because you didn't do anything for me. You gave me an opportunity, and beyond that, that's where it ended. If he called me tomorrow and said, I got $250,000 for you. I'd like you to come on full time. I'd like you to do this, this, and this. Hey, I appreciate the offer. It's not for me. Good luck to you. That's truly how I feel. If you can F things up that bad in 4 to 6 weeks with somebody who really looked up to you and who really could have used some of your mentorship, you might want to think about this, Jason. And I hope everybody else does. This isn't my lane. I'm not coming back. I simply paused to inform people that wanted to know what was going on, and now I'm done.